Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2Dudes, 1Garage. I always want to say something else.
2 Dudes, 1 Garage. We're back. Second half coming strong. So, Alex, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about cryptocurrency and its use case. So, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we've kind of talked about the general market and this and that and coin values and potential gains and investor side, but there is a lot of benefits just to crypto in general that I think, the whole international economy. And that's the other thing. We've really never had a time where we have a global economy, or like a currency that can go anywhere all over the world, and this is a really new space. And there's such a benefit to that because banking and stuff, if you want to move money, you want to send money to somewhere in the second or third world, or just, frankly, to Europe or something, it takes time, it takes effort, and they take, big cuts of your money. So, but crypto, you also can be a little more anonymous. You can be a little more private. You can share information, and but that's like kind of up to you. And I think it does give the power back to the people. And I think originally that's kind of what a lot of things that the U.S. did stand for, but just the world in general with freedoms to give people the flexibility and the options, because there's a lot of third world countries where they do use a lot of cash, and it's like you buy the land and then you own it outright. And if somebody just comes and decides that you don't own it, you really don't have paperwork, you really don't have proof. And I think that's a huge thing, getting like some of the world less fortunate areas on a blockchain, this or that. I know that's coming in a long time. It sounds far-fetched and kind of crazy, but I do think eventually we're going to get there, and there's going to be some really big world benefits to it. Innovation speeds up, frankly. We're not going slower. Crypto is, the prices are fluctuating, but the building, all the smartest people, they're in crypto. And that's something to really, not undervalue, underestimate. The greatest minds, just innovators, everybody's, just flocking to crypto, and it's just really crazy. There's even people on Ethereum working for free because they believe in the project so much. And I think that speaks a lot to the goodwill in nature. There's a lot of, talk about, oh, it's for sketchy people, but honestly, I don't think, it is. It's really, and that's not even a debatable thing anymore. I think there's a lot of very smart people that are very, very educated that say this is a really good space, and there's a lot of potential and possibility. And that's why you see so many projects. I mean, there are 15,000 coins, right? But there's a lot of very legitimate, huge, awesome projects that are being built. And there's a lot of, there is rug pulls and scams and sketchy stuff, but equally, it's probably less than a third, but there's, a lot of really awesome projects and promising things that will develop in the next couple of years into some, I can't even imagine what's coming. That's kind of what gets me excited about this space. And I can see the technical innovation and just things that are to come. They've kind of talked about at conferences and stuff, crypto is sort of on the edge still when it comes to the wallets and this and that, and not being super user friendly. And some of them are, but overall, just getting to that sweet spot where there's consumer confidence and the setup, the logins, everything is super sweet and feels great. And there's more back end utility and, a lot of other big words that I may or may not use. But, I think, once it becomes a little more mainstream, we're going to see so many awesome things. And then there's going to be bigger, more legitimate companies that are more in traditional finance that jump on and go wow, you guys do have something awesome here. Let's build onto it. Right. And so there is going to be this cascading thing. I swear within the next, 1 to 3 years, we're just going to be, I think it's going to be a better and better time to get into crypto, honestly, or it's going to be looking better for crypto over the next couple of years. I think it's going to be just gangbusters bananas. So any thoughts on all that?
Yeah, sky's the limit. Like I always say, sky's the limit. And I just want to kind of touch base on the whole cryptocurrency and how it's always been, blacklisted or, been made to look like it was part of some kind of underground warlord organization, but which it was. I'm not gonna lie, they've used it. But the thing about the blockchain that about 99% of the people don't know is that the blockchain ledger, it doesn't matter if you're in a BTC, if you're in the Go, BNC, Ethereum chain, you can literally look up anybody's wallet and see all their transactions. It is not hidden. It's open. It's available. I'm going to pull up an address on a BTC here. You can go to blockchain.com and pull up their address, and it literally shows all the transaction statements here for that specific wallet. It won't give you the name. It'll just give you all these letters and numbers, but you can see if you had the wallet address, you'd be able to see every single transaction publicly. So it's not like it's hidden like your bank account. This is an open source ledger where you can literally view anybody's wallet, and if they're doing shady things, so be it, but you'll be able to track it. And that's how the government's been able to track most of the people that have been trying to do scams, especially recently with the meat markets and all this stuff that was going on about 6 months ago. Kind of scammers that are trying to take people's money because they break into your network and your servers, and they think they can hold your servers for ransom because it's your intellectual IP. You're going to pay the ransom, and they want Bitcoin, thinking that Bitcoin is the safest, most resourceful hidden way possible, but honestly it's not. It's actually you can actually pull up the address, and especially if you have a specific amount you're requesting. But yeah, Alex, any thoughts on that?
From what I heard, and I don't know about a lot of this because I'm not sketchy, but I have heard like you can throw like transaction through tumblers and this and that, and kind of like confuse a little bit, make it a little bit harder to track. And I don't know, I've just heard that, but I think there is ways to hide it a little bit. I know Ethereum, some developers are working on like either putting like your name or last name or something on your wallet, so it's like easily accessible to friends or like businesses, kind of making it, like I was kind of talking about, like more consumer friendly, but then also like giving an option to kind of like hide some of that information, because I don't know, it's a new space. Like I don't know if all that should be available. I mean, do I want all my transactions available to my friends and family or my enemies or this? I don't know. It's a really good question, right? That like what's moral, legal, what's obligated to the rest of society, right? So I think that's like a lot of questions that we're gonna have to like sort and figure out over time. And also kind of what Leo was talking about, like Bitcoin being sketchy. And I think part of the reason, or just crypto in general in the past, that it maybe appeared sketchy is because frankly there's a lack of knowledge. I don't think that the original creators were sketchy or evil or some weird things going on. I think the first time I heard about Bitcoin was like 2012, 2013, and I was kind of just like, what are you talking about, alternate currency? Are you crazy? Like who even like has that kind of thought, right? Until you really sit and start to talk to somebody about it, it doesn't make any sense. And like that's common sense, good for you. You shouldn't be jumping in on some alternate currency, because a lot of times it's gonna be some weird thing. Turns out, crypto isn't, but you kind of have that mental barrier where that's actually healthy, I think, to kind of think like, oh, there's something shady. And I think a lot of, or sketchy or something wrong about this. And as you learn more, you get more educated. It's like, oh, this is actually really cool. But, a lot of other things out there in the world might be. But so I do think that kind of accounts for the shady kind of nature, or the at least for people to question and go, I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. Well, fiat's made up too, and people don't really like even think about that because they just accept dollars and cash and bank statements as a fact of something that's always been around. But really, it's just a value that we agree on, right? Well, that's what crypto is too. It's a value that everyone agrees on, and it buys a certain amount of things, and it has tools and utility built in, just like cash. And so any more thoughts?
So we're just trying to pretty much simplify the fact that crypto isn't a dark arts or dark web or anything like that. It's actually very open and broad and self-explanatory once you start digging in. And There's no reason why it should be labeled an outcast. It should be praised upon. It's going to change our economy, the world as we see it, especially going into now. We'll probably talk about this in a different podcast or so. We're going to touch more onto it, but like we're going to go into metaverses. We're going to go into the VR gaming. The VR gaming industry is it's such a multi-billion-dollar industry that we have no idea what's going to happen with the gaming and the VR and just people living in these worlds where Joe Schmo in Kansas, is the most world famous, Call of Duty player or RPG player in the world. And he lives in the middle of nowhere, Kansas or Nebraska, in a cornfield. But he is known well around the world in the metaverse as the lethal assassin. That kind of stuff is incredible. And I can't comprehend that. So there's more to come. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
What was I about to say about that? Oh yeah, as like new technologies and new innovations outside of crypto start to happen in technology, I do think that crypto is just going to naturally integrate into it. I think that's another really interesting thing about like assume, there's 3 to 10 more new technologies that we can't even think of yet. We haven't conceived. They haven't even been, innovated on or created at all. But then now we have some crypto integration. I mean, that could be massive for society. Looking forward, I think anything really is possible in 5 or 10 years, but even sooner. A lot of people, even if they don't really go on the blockchain or, trade cryptos or, buy cryptos and hold or whatever, a lot of them know about NFTs and this and that and buy them. You see a lot of like famous people, like Steph Curry, I think, was buying up some NFTs, and like Snoop Dogg ended up like running some Twitter account recently because he was like really interested in NFTs, and he didn't want to be like have society, skew his perspective on his thoughts. So he decided to do an anonymous one for a while. But yeah, you see all these famous people that are super into it, and but they might not be buying up Ethereum and Bitcoin and this and that, but they are using the functionalities of it, and I do think that speaks a lot to it just becoming more and more mainstream. I watched a YouTube like a music video where they actually were buying CryptoPunks and NFTs the other day, and I thought that was cool because it's just like for a second, but if you know what it is, you know what it is, right? It's kind of like that signal going out to like if you're in the know, you're in the know. And so I thought that was kind of neat. So what are we talking about next?
Yeah, I just want to touch up a little bit on that. How Snoop Dogg and these famous artists and entertainers are buying up these digital assets as far as NFTs, non-fungible tokens, aka my simplistic term that I absolutely love because I'm deep into this rabbit hole is digital art. If you can buy the Mona Lisa as a digital art and never be scared to damage it because it will always be with you, you won't need a big house to display your Mona Lisa. People would buy that. If you can buy a legit Mona Lisa and not a fake one off China and some eBay website, if you would literally buy one of the Mona Lisas or the Van Goghs that were minted in the blockchain ledger and had authenticity, how much would you pay for that? And the answer is millions and billions of Ether or Bitcoin. So going back to the artists, so they're masking their identity for one reason, and I think because they don't want mainstream society to know this, because then they won't be able to fill up their bags with these digital assets, because at that point everybody's going to jump in the bandwagon and start buying these assets, and this price will skyrocket astronomically to where it's like anything. You're early adopter of crypto, you want to buy the crypto, you want to be the first person that buys crypto because you're an early adopter. So once you're an early adopter, you're just going to sit back and wait for the mainstream society to come in and buy up the remainder, and you're going to be considered a whale because you bought bag loads of crypto, fractions to the pennies to the dollar, and everyone's buying in, and you'll be able to sell and control the market. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to fill up their bags and control the market and be in a good position. And I don't blame them, because I would want to be in a good position where I can sell digital assets for tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars and not have to do anything else but sit back and collect. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Alex?
I think it's kind of twofold. I do think that there is some value in being anonymous when you are a personality and you don't want people to skew your words or only see you as, through one lens. So they want to be a little more anonymous when they have their opinions. So people, have a different conversation. Because if I'm sitting there on Twitter, right, and like Snoop Dogg wants to talk to me about NFTs, all I can think about is like, this is Snoop Dogg. What the heck? Like, it's not the conversation he wants to have. Now, yeah, there's like basketball players and, a number of other famous celebrities that do buy NFTs or this and that. And it really does show that we really do value digital things more and more now. But I think for some of them that are really wealthy, I think it's partially a flex, It's like they will pay tens of thousands of dollars or $100,000 and, whatever, 50 ETH or 500 ETH, because they're like, I got it and I got nothing else to do, and like let me have it. I'm gonna show it off. So I think there's some of that, because they really don't care. Like Steph Curry he's not looking to build financial stability or anything. Like he doesn't need to flip anything. Like his life is set, right? So I think it's just kind of for fun for them. They go, okay, what's like the new cutting edge thing? Let me get into it. Like if that's something that's just a hobby or an interest of them, because, like crypto is on the rise, and there's a lot of people that are, smart people that go, okay, what is this? How do I get involved? And you never know what else they're doing. I mean, they could be doing some pretty smart stuff in the space too. And, you can deploy a team and get working on something that you have a vision for. So I think there's a lot of options here. Any other thoughts? I'm gonna open this. Bourbon County brand Cherrywood Stout. Every year, Bourbon County comes out with a stout, but this is one of the special ones, one of like the 4 to 6 every year. So this is like wood cherry chips. So we're gonna try this. 14%. It's a big heavy hitter. So we'll see. Thought we'd do some beer reviews a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, and touching back on famous people, influencers, or artists promoting crypto or crypto assets as far as NFTs, digital art. There's always two sides to the story. There you go. Yep. So there's always two sides to the story. I mean, it could be, they do want to keep it low key because they don't want to be asked in-depth questions about their NFTs or crypto, which they may not have a lot of knowledge about, but they were told by very savvy people that it was the next big thing. And also, they really just want to fill up their bags. I mean, the rich always want to get richer. So that's another point of view. So there's always two aspects to look at. And both of us, we're not wrong or right. We're just giving you both sides, We're giving you the yin and the yang on this one. So let's give this a try real quick.
I'm excited. I've had a number of these in the past, but I haven't had this one. Cheers. It's solid.
Yeah, it's flavorful, and it's not thick like you would think a Guinness or anything like that. It's smooth. It's just the right viscosity, you know what I mean, in that drink. And great, man. I appreciate you bringing that by, man. Connoisseur over here.
A little bit.
Yep.
A little bit. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of friends share a lot with me, so I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. As these warm up, some of the flavors come out a little bit more. I'm hoping for a little bit of the cherry and the wood, so we'll see. Yeah. But so where are we going next?
We are gonna do.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Solana real quick. So I think Solana is like an interesting case because it's kind of new, and once again, I don't know a ton about it. It's very different than a lot of the other chains that we've been looking at. So basic stuff, proof of work is Bitcoin. proof of stake is Cardano, and Ethereum is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. Currently, they're like in their process of, you know, ETH 2.0 and all that stuff and scalability. But yeah, so Solana proof of history consensus combined with underlying proof of stake. So the way that I've heard about it is they kind of, you know, a lot of different computers. A simple way, a little bit more simple way to describe it is a bunch of computers. They all send their files at the same time, but as long as they're time stamped, is they can all like reshuffle them back to the correct like position of the blockchain. So they can do it a little bit faster because they can have like tons of them all, you know, moving at the same time, and just like you got a big file cabinet, and then once you have it, you just like rearrange it, right? So they can do a lot of transactions. But I think it's an interesting case, right? Because it's a little bit different than everything else on the market, and it's really I think within the last like 3 or 4 months, it, you know, I think it was like $30 or $40, and it's just popped. Let's look. Yeah, the beginning of the year is $1. Okay, that's scary. But yeah, even in May, I mean, you know, I've been around the space for a while, and I really, you know, didn't really hear much about it. And then that's the interesting thing is everybody kind of has a unique interaction with crypto because there are so many coins that if you don't know somebody that knows something about it, like how you going to know if it has validity or interest or this or that until you look into it? Because what are you going to do? Just do a grab bag of 15,000 coins? Like you're not going to know everything about everything, right? Unless you're like really following people that are very in touch with the space. And you know, but yeah, it's really popped off. And I think there's a little bit of weariness from seasoned investors because it's a new thing. There's been a little bit of issues where I think it went down once or twice for a couple of hours. So I don't think that counts it out by any means. I think there's a lot of potential. It would be really shocking if it just like, you know, tripled in price from here. I think everybody would kind of like not know what to do with themselves. But I mean, it already did that recently. So it's really moving strong. I think it'll just be interesting long term to kind of see like its actual tech behind it. And I don't really want to call it a dark horse anymore. I did for a while, but it's kind of, you know, it's a little bit different, right? It's a new innovation, and anytime like new innovation, like, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum are already new innovations to a lot of people, and they don't understand them and they're not comfortable. Well, Solana, I think, is the newest thing where people still don't really know. It's going to take some time to acclimate to understand. And honestly, I just wanted to touch on it because I think it's an interesting thing to see where it's going. And it's good, huh? And yeah, we'll have to see over time kind of how Solana does. I have a feeling it's going to be around for a while. You know, return on investment 86,000%. Can you even imagine buying that at like, I don't know, $10 or something? I mean, no, so many people. Yeah, I know. So many people get so rich. It's so silly, right? But yeah, any thoughts on Solana?
Yeah. So I just want to start off by saying, all these reviews we've done, it is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors at all. We're just two dudes in a garage, strictly entertainment purposes. I mean, we're drinking while we're doing this at the same time, smoking a cigar. So, but yeah, the cherry flavor in this is amazing. Like, I can taste the cherry and like the warmth in it. It's so delicious. Let me take one more second.
Yeah, as it's warmed up, it's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good choice myself.
It was a great choice. Great choice for the second podcast
I like that. Third now.
Oh, third, yes. Correction.
It was a great choice for the third podcast. It was a great choice for the third podcast.
All right, third podcast. So I pulled up this page here because this part of the page on crypto or coinmarketcap.com. Specifically because, yeah, this is ridiculous ROI, return on investment, 86,000%. 1 year. Unpredictable. It's ridiculous. So let's look at the circulating supply. 307 million SOL tokens. Total supply, 510 million SOL tokens. So right now we're at 307, but through mining, it will slowly increase to, and the yearly deposits of the token, or they will release tokens every year, a certain amount.
And it doesn't really say if there is a max.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I stand corrected. There isn't a max supply, but as of total supply right now, it's 510 million tokens, which is not a lot when you look at it at other, other crypto, which are in the hundreds of billions and trillions of tokens. So it's really solid, very leveled cryptocurrency.
All those Dogelon
Mars, and those
quadrillion coins.
Hey, baby Doge.
I still can't even like handle the idea of a quadrillion coin, whatever. And then it's like, oh, cool, we're gonna burn a bunch. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Like, I understand people want to buy like hundreds of thousands and feel like they're rich, working a 9-to-5 job, and that's cool, and it can happen for you. It's just a quadrillion coins. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're 18 sextillion coins next. Like, anyways.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. We're going to go to a zillion and then to infinity and beyond.
I hope so. I hope so.
So,
Buzz Lightyear coin, baby.
So looking back and recapping this, you see a dollar. You see a dollar, $2, and then all of a sudden you see $256 per token. Yeah. But what does that mean? Like, when I look at that, and I don't know about you, but when I see that, I question myself, and I question myself. I say, okay, and this is how I judge a token and how I judge the value of a token. Market cap. What's the overall value of a coin? Okay, because you can have a $300,000 coin, but if the market cap is only 100 million, like, you're gonna be like, okay, it was market dominance. Market dominance is in there, but yeah, they have like 10 coins out there that are worth each. Like, that's it. It could be a rug pull. So looking at the market cap back when it was $1, the market cap was 75 million in market cap. So it was $1 at 75 million, and then we get close to May, 11 billion. That's respectable. Anything over 10 billion, you got to keep your eye on that. Yeah, for sure. And then you end up going to September 8th, 56 billion. When you get into the 50s club, congratulations, you've made it to the top 10. You've made it to the top 10. And why I say that, let me go back over here and pull that up. Let me go back up. So we're looking at Bitcoin up $941 billion. Okay. And you go to the bottom 10, which is Polkadot, that's $28 billion. So if you're at $50 billion, you're in the top 10. No questions about it. Once you're in the top 10, you're dominating the market. I don't care. You're going to dominate the market. Yeah. So that's a serious player there. Solana is no joke. And it's popping off. It's popping off. So when it hit that $256, it hit 77 billion. And I'll tell you, last time I saw something that hit 77 billion that was at, 2 billion, 5 billion was Doge. Doge in the Elon Hype Saturday Night Live event, he brought Doge to 70, 80 billion market cap, which was 75 cents. Real quick. And it crashed real quick.